All right, welcome back, Nerd Nation. We have Cygell as our guest for like the third or fourth time, right?
I know. Would you like me to sign your shirt after this?
No. But I love the hairdo today, by the way.
You know I can't.
She just found out today, so she
I didn't have any time to like do my hair in a nice,
for
luxurious way.
No, welcome back. It's been a while. So one of the things that I've been wanting to do is kind of like a day in the life of a marketing specialist, a day in the life of an advisor, and a day in the life of an area sales manager. So we're going to start with you. Lucky you.
Yeah. So where would you like me to begin?
Well, tell me this. So how long have you been a manager for N.E.R.D?
Since September of 2018.
2018. And from our your first podcast, we kind of know that was down in San Antonio. Is this the first job where you've been a manager?
I mean, I started with you guys when I was young.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, like my official, I had like a management position at this store that I worked at in Orlando, I was like a lead designer because I worked for like a high-end furniture company. But like as far as like having people report to me and managing a team and stuff.
So one of the myths about managing is it's a glorious job. It's a lot of work, huh?
I feel like I've already earned a PhD in psychiatry.
You do so much as a manager, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you're a marriage counselor, sometimes you're a fireman putting out fires.
Yeah.
So you do a lot. So I really want to just kind of dive into a day in a life. So I know every day is a little bit different because some days you have, meetings, some days you have training, some days you have interviews. So
I think that's the part of my job that I like the most is I'm not, and like in this industry of like in-home sales, I'm not, I don't like to be just like sitting at a desk and stuff.
Right.
So I like to be like really hands-on with my team. And I think what makes me, and I mean, I'm not trying to like stroke my own ego, but what makes me a really good leader is that I'm not like to my team, like I am above you or like you are lesser than me. I look at them as my family.
Yep.
I have this self-proclaimed title that I'm a solar mom. And so all of my team, it's a bunch of, guys and it's me. I'm like the only girl. But they're like my children. And I mean, like Mike Laser. Mike Laser's, 50 some years old and he's like my son.
I would say 30, Mike.
And, they're my family. And, like Tony is what, 58 and he's like, he's like my child.
But the solar mom, I want to go on that for a minute. So solar mom, basically, what do moms have? They have all the answers, right?
All the answers, and we can just figure anything out.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, you have to have all the answers as a sales manager.
Yeah, and even if you don't have the answer, you just have to have the mentality that everything is figure-outable.
Right.
And
is that a word? Figure-outable? Can we coin that?
Webster's, get at me. But yeah, like I think that's probably what even N.E.R.D loves the most about me is like I'll just figure it out. Like there's no is my least favorite word. I mean, ask Brian. Whenever I like ask Brian something and he's like no, and I'm like, we need to reevaluate that really quick. Like I do not take no. We are gonna figure this out,
right?
No matter what, and I'll figure it out for my team too. But I also want to empower my team. Like I hate when managers try to withhold information because they want to be like the go-to and they want to have that like assertion of control because they're like, I'm the only one with this information. My team has to come to me. Well, I don't feel like the business grows that way. Why not share the knowledge and empower your team to also go and seek out answers and problem solve and everything? So I'm still a student to the game, no matter what.
Right. So what is a day in in the life of a sales manager? So for example, well, let's do this. Let's start at your responsibilities.
Yeah.
What are your responsibilities as a sales manager, area sales manager here at N.E.R.D Power?
So a lot of just organizing my team's schedule, training them, and
so
growing
managing
the
schedule,
team,
training, recruiting. What programs are you over as well? Like you're over the
lead
gen. A lot of people don't understand that you're over the, like, ultimately, you're the responsibility, like you're the owner of both the lead gen and the closers, the advisors in your office, right?
Yeah. And then I do like a lot of pipeline management. I assess like the pipeline of my whole team and make sure, because I mean, my team's job is to grow the business and focus on new sales. That's what I want them to focus on. I don't want them to be bogged down by their past sales. And so I help push those accounts along. And if there's any issues, I don't want them, we're in a construction type industry. There are 1,000,001 things that can go wrong. Right. I don't want that to affect their headspace in acquiring new business.
So you're the buffer.
Yeah. Yep. So I want to handle that for my team. And then I have my own clients that I manage, and I have my own sales because I believe in leading from the front. Yeah. And who am I to tell my team how to do their job if I'm not willing to do it myself? Yep. So I also do that. And I put together like team trainings because we have our team meeting every week. And then I do orientations. Then I do boot camps for marketing specialists and for new advisors. And then we map out territory. And then I also have a district manager. Shout out to my boy, Justin. And we meet every day. We talk all day long. There's no like set, like my day doesn't ever like have a finite end date.
Right.
I mean, like 2 weeks ago, I was up until, 2:00 in the morning every night.
Signing out the leads and trying to figure out some stuff. Yep. Yeah.
And then in the morning, I say like my mornings are probably the most important thing to me because I have a little girl. And I like to have a little bit of time with her. So in the mornings, I wake up early and, I do some like crazy things, like talk to myself. I talk to myself, and more than anything,
we're talking Tony Robbins style, right?
Tony Robbins, baby.
I love it.
And I map out my goals for the day. Like, I think long-term goals are big, but I want to have daily goals where I feel like I'm having like little wins that catapult me to have bigger wins that snowball. So I set my goals up for the day, my to-do list for the day. I touch base with all of my team members. That's another thing. Like when you're in in-home sales and you're managing a team of in-home reps, your culture needs to be outside of the four walls. So I have to carry the culture on my back sometimes. And a lot of times it's just me constantly maintaining communication with my reps and not them feeling like, oh, it's out of sight, out of mind. If I'm not at N.E.R.D Power's office, then I'm not on the clock or anything like that. Like, no, it's very much.
Because the sales job is, we call it the solar coaster, right? But it's an emotional thing because you have highs and you have lows. Super low, lows. So, and you have to manage their expectations. You have to manage their moods. You have to,
Yeah. And a lot of times it's me, recognizing, because they are my family. I know them very well. I know every rep has a different personality. Every rep has something that motivates them, or like, for instance, Carl, I know Carl's like love language per se in the realm of sales. Carl is a words of affirmation guy. Like you just got to hype him up. And, that's one thing. When I was a very new green manager, it was very hard for me to be that way. So I've definitely like developed that level of skill now where I'm completely fine, like humbling my ego to boost someone else's ego, because that's going to be what's best for the team, for them, and for the company.
Well, and it's interesting that you said like every rep is different. So you have to know each one of your reps, and then you have to figure out, what pushes their buttons and what helps them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And we all know that sales reps are
high maintenance,
egotistical, cocky, and you have to manage that.
Yeah, it never ends. But sometimes, and I think
we love sales.
I love my sales guys. Sometimes more than others. Every week I have a new favorite sales rep, and
but always a always a favorite manager, right? Of your managers? That never changes?
I know I'm your favorite manager, Eric. Let's put it out there. Okay, guys, I'm Eric's favorite. But yeah, no, like I have my favorite guys and you know, there's so many ebbs and flows, but I have to be the constant for my team too. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, like misery loves company. And one thing I tell with anybody that's coming into the company, like when I'm doing orientations or I've hired somebody in an interview or I'm doing boot camp, I am very protective over our space. It is very easy for everything to go wrong and to look at it as everything is going wrong. But you have to remind yourself of the good that you're doing, and you have to really believe in what you're doing.
Right.
And so I always have to be that for my team, where if someone has had, you know, very low sales for the month and they're just like, oh my gosh, it's very easy to never feel like you're going to get out of it. But you have to remind them like, dude, you're a killer. Like last month you had 12 sales, like your clients love you. And this happens to everybody. And you got to be the baseline to pull your reps out of that. It's very easy to, you know, it's mind over matter a lot of times. And that's where in the morning I got to talk to myself. I got to hype myself up. And I can't rely on anybody else to do that for me because I got to do that for my team.
It's interesting because you are very protective of your environment, like you said. But one thing that I've noticed is you're also very protective of your sales reps. I could give you examples of where you promised me, you swore.
Shut up, Eric.
Like it doesn't matter.
You know what? Contrary to popular belief, I am not perfect. I'm not perfect.
No, it's actually a compliment.
Yeah.
Like you defend your guys, even if they're wrong or struggling. Like you always have their back.
Well, like also my personality too is like, if we're out. For instance, for you, like I have your back, you know, more than anything, you know, you're like my work husband. And if we're in a room and you say something completely crazy, I will co-sign to it because you put me on the spot and I'm not going to make you feel dumb. And nor am I going to like, you know, I'll be like, yeah, Eric, yeah. And I'll have your back. And then when we get into the room, I'm like, Eric, I swear to God, if you ever say something like that ever again, I'm not going to back you up again. And that's how I am with my team. Like, I'll go to bat for them, and because I want them to trust me and believe. Because at the end of the day, this is their livelihood, and I take that very personally. I want my team more than anything to have a beautiful life and provide a beautiful life for their family. Because that's what this industry and this company has done for me. And I want to spread that love with them. And I feel like a lot of that comes with like the security of your leadership. And you can love what you do, but hate the company you do it for. Or you can love what you do, love your company, and hate your leader. Right. And I don't want that to ever be the issue for my team.
No, it's interesting because it's a hard job as a manager because you do have to balance keeping them motivated, like you talked about. You have to balance, you know, making sure they're on track. So hold them accountable, right? Yeah. And sometimes, you know, they don't see that you do have their back every time when it comes to ops and, you know, the corporate side of things. You're always defending your guys and trying to make it better.
Especially when like Eric is like, Cygell, the numbers are down. And I'm like, ugh, the pressure. But I got to like go and put a smile on my face. And sometimes I got to be, can I say a biatch?
We can beep.
Sometimes I got to be a... And that's just what it is. And, you know, but I tell my team, like, sometimes I got to be the velvet hammer. Yeah. And, you know, we're in the business of being in business. And while I love, you know, playing ping pong and pop a shot and shooting the shoot and just sharing glorious stories.
She's trying so hard not to swear, guys. So like she just...
but I have a great vocabulary too. I just gotta, you know, get a little more colorful. But this is, you know, we're a sales organization. Yeah, we're a sales.
We are a sales organization.
So yeah, I got to be that balance for my team in every way.
Yeah, and that's when I was joking at the very beginning. It's people don't realize how hard it is to manage sales reps. You know,
and it's so funny when, sorry to cut you off. It's so funny when people are like, oh yeah, but you make so much money. Oh yeah, but you get paid for that. And it's like, if I were a manager because of pay, I would not be a manager. This is so much more than that. Like, you have to really be, it's so much more than just the money.
You use the word family.
Yeah, it's family. This is family.
And
you
family,
have to be empathetic. Like, you can't just be doing, like, you're not going to be a successful manager if you're doing this for pay.
And family is something that you don't turn off. So at 5 o'clock, do you turn your phone off?
No. And you know what? I've gotten text messages at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And
then you have Aaron, who's a early riser at 4 o'clock, and hey, Cygell, these people aren't here.
Yeah.
For an install. So it starts early too.
Yeah. Right? It never ends. There's so many different dynamics of the job. But I do this because I love my company that I work for. I love my CEO. I think he's amazing, and I just want to do like the best for him because I want to make him look good. Yeah. And I also guess I have like a kind of nice boss. I mean, he's kind of okay. He's I. He's I. I'm
I. All right. So you wake up in the mornings. Yeah. I know you exercise. So when do you tell us how you fit in everything that you have to do in a day? Because you're a single mom.
Yeah.
You're a N.E.R.D mom, or what is it? Solar mom.
Solar mom.
Mm-hmm. But you also have to take care of yourself as well.
Yeah.
So kind of walk us through a typical day.
Yeah. So I wake up at 6 a.m. And I have like a little coffee ritual. Good. So I think
routines are important. I really do.
Yeah. And I'm a creature of habit. Yep. I love having control, and there's certain, like, my day can throw me curveballs. I love to bank on what I can control and the things that.
So if you go to the cupboard and there's no coffee, the day is over.
Or I don't have like my favorite coffee creamer, or if I ran out of my like Nespresso pod or something like.
But I just don't see you ever running out of anything. You're just
that's why Amazon visits my house every freaking day. But yeah, no, I have my cup of coffee. I sit outside on my on my porch. Mm-hmm. I have Pablo there.
It's me time.
It's me time. It's like my 30 minutes to just be kind to myself. And I have my notepad in my phone where I write down, the things that I did well last week, or like the things I did well, like the day before, the things that I'm proud of. I'm proud of myself for. Yeah. And then I think of all of the things that I got to tackle that day. And then I hop in the shower, eat some breakfast, and hopefully my daughter wakes up before I leave. But if she hasn't woken up yet, I hop on my computer, make sure all the leads are assigned for the day. Every time I assign a lead, I reach out to the rep, like, hey, just letting you know, I put this on your schedule, read the notes, and I'll kind of text my whole team or post in our group me. And then I'll either head out to the office, or if I have a client appointment because I'm helping the team in the field, I'll cover like a morning lead, and then I'll go to the office after. I have orientation. Justin and I, Galen and I, we get together, we cover anything that we need to discuss. Right now we're in the phase of building the West office, and we're, hiring new people and stuff. So we don't have a set schedule. So me, Galen, Justin, we meet like every day, like, hey, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. This is the plan for Thursday. This is the plan for Friday.
And you guys are in just build mode.
We're just building, and every day is different. No 2 days look the same. But I think that's, I'm so blessed to have, I love working with Galen, and I love working with Justin, which is why I brought Justin all the way here from Texas. But yeah, they're like crucial to helping me do my job the best way that I can. Yeah. And then, I have my teams in the field until 9 o'clock at night, and I have to be available for them. Now sometimes I get home at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. And I try and balance that. Like if I'm late in the field 2 days, 3 days a week, then I try and be home early a few other days, because I want to put my daughter to bed and give her a bath and stuff. That's like our time that we have together. And not only that, but I also want to show my daughter what it is to work hard and not rely on anybody else for your success. So, I love that she gets to see me in work mode too. And I want her to see me also take care of myself. So, like Fridays, I don't run any leads past 4 o'clock.
Awesome.
And I get my home to myself for a few hours. A thing that I always do is I'm not a very high maintenance person per se, but I'll always go and get my nails done. So
is that weekly or just
every 2 weeks, like clockwork? Nerd power people, you'll never see me with some crusty toes or fingers. I'm like, that's what I do for myself.
But I think that's important that people don't understand, because it's such a high stress job and a demanding job. It's important that we take care of ourselves, right? Health wise, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, like we have to take care of ourselves. And so those types of things are huge. I know my son, he's out in sales right now. And one of the things that I admit I've been really, really poor at throughout my career is rewarding myself and enjoying the success. So whenever I've succeeded at something, I've always just been like, okay, and on to the next. And I never took that time, to really enjoy and not relish in the accomplishment, but just
be proud of, just enjoy that and give yourself that moment, because so people like you and I, we're so caught up in the journey.
Yes.
And we love the journey. As crazy as this sounds, I sometimes, if I don't feel overwhelmed by work, I feel like something's wrong. Yeah. It right? You feel like if you're not overwhelmed or if you're not stressed, that something is wrong. But that is not how we should be living,
Well, and that's the thing is I've on that level, and then even on the physical level, and I've had to reevaluate things and really put things into perspective and start doing things better to make sure that I do take care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and those types of things. Because this type of a job, managing sales rep, could be all consuming. Like, you're never going to answer every email, answer every text,
things go wrong.
Every customer. Exactly.
Things go wrong. I can never appease every member on my team.
But that's one of the reasons we do this, right? Is because
we love the challenge.
The challenge, right?
I love the challenge, and I want to just get better. This, like, no one puts more pressure on me than myself.
Yeah.
And I always want to get better and better for my team, for this company, and but I got to also be kind to myself. And when I do something good, and that's something I learned about in that whole Tony Robbins thing, is when it's okay to celebrate yourself. Whenever I have a really killer week at work, I'm going to buy myself something, or I'm going to treat myself to something.
Go paint those nails.
Go paint those nails. Let me go get a pedicure.
We're running out of time, so just a couple questions. So what has been the most rewarding thing about managing at N.E.R.D Power?
When I can take a new rep and have them earning life-changing money. And awesome. That's probably the greatest thing. That's the greatest feeling, because solar really changed my life.
And what is something about managing that you didn't realize how hard it was going to be?
Patience. Patience. I'm not a patient person. I'm a here now, instant gratification. If I tell you to do something, I want it done. And it's helped me become a better mom too, because the world doesn't move on my time.
Right.
And I need to respect that. And sometimes...
Hold on. Can we go back to that? The world does not move on Cygell's time.
It doesn't. It should. It'd be a better world if it did.
I just have to remind you that.
It doesn't move at my time.
Cygell, the world does not revolve around you.
Eric, now. I need this fixed right now. But yeah, no, it's taught me patience, and it's helped me be a better mom for that. And yeah, that's probably the biggest challenge I've had. I think you can attest that I was a very different manager when I started.
Oh yeah.
Than now.
You really come into yourself, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The patience wasn't there in the beginning.
So, last question: what are you going to work on to be a better manager? Because I know you're goal oriented. I know you probably have a list of things, but what's your top thing that you're going to work on to be a better manager?
I want to be a better I want to improve being a trainer. I think 75% of my job should be just spending time and training with my team.
Interesting, because that gives you the greatest satisfaction as well, right? When you take someone and mold them into a better person.
Their success feels like my success.
I love it.
And sometimes I get a little short-sighted where I'm like, I gotta help, us reach our quota for the month and reach our goals for the month. And me being in home doesn't move the needle. It's very short-sighted
You
success.
having 6 people in homes.
Me, being with my team in the field, helping them close the sales, that moves the needle. That is what's going to get us to our goals as a company. So I need to focus on that and not be so short-sighted by like the immediate results, me immediately being in a home, knowing like my closing percentage is really good and I'll get the immediate business, but this doesn't move things along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are out of time. Cygell, thank you. Awesome to talk kind of the day in the life.
Do you want to get a Sharpie so I can sign his shirt for him now?
Sign my shirt. Day in the life of a sales manager. So Cygell Mercedes, thank you.
Thank you.